India, the USA, Great Britain, the Netherlands, Venezuela. People from these and many other countries of the world live with us side by side. They are working, starting families, growing up children and simply enjoying life in Kazakhstan. In our program Connecting Cultures, we share their stories that had occurred before they came to Kazakhstan and after they arrived here. From them, we will learn how the experience of staying in our country has changed their destinies. Our program follows the life of foreigners in our country. This is true stories told by representatives of many nations living and developing in Kazakhstan, and for whom our country has become home. It is inherent to every human being to be brought up in traditions and customs of one's own people. And as the parents of our today's hero, Wegeler, represent diverse national backgrounds, he was lucky to grow in the richness of a multicultural environment, and this enhanced his interest in exotic countries with their culture. Thus, Murray has found himself in Kazakhstan.
Currently listening to stories told by their son about his positive impressions of the distant and unfamiliar land, the parents of our hero are very glad that he has the opportunity to gain such a great experience in the study of the other people's culture. And the place where the hero of our program was born is Lyon, one of the most attractive cities for living, which is situated in the southeast of France.
What I think about the education system in Kazakhstan is that it's extremely open. Like, if you compare the language level, for example, compared to France, people are extremely skilled. They all speak English, some will speak French, and they speak Russian and Kazakh. And the end result is that all the students have like huge potential in Kazakhstan and outside of Kazakhstan. And as a European, standards of education are extremely good. Extremely good. So it was a good surprise, a very good surprise.
Murray, tell us about your family and your childhood. Was it happy?
It was an amazing childhood. I would like to thank my parents before starting everything, because they were amazing. You know, if I'm at this point today, it's because of my parents. And I would like to thank them a lot for what they've done for me and what they're still doing for me today. As a child, I used to love to play football with friends, play rugby, and especially cycling. And that's why I said, you know, I used to be a good cyclist, because I started cycling at a very young age. I traveled a lot with my parents. I was lucky enough to have, you know, very open-minded parents that made me travel a lot. And in terms of school, I was very lucky to meet great friends. Amazing period. You know, I don't regret my childhood.
And what were you interested in when you were younger?
As a young kid, I was always attracted by science. Weirdly enough, today I'm doing business, but the things that opened my curiosity was science. I don't know why. I was interested by nature, by the outdoors, by animals, and at a certain point, actually, I was super interested in like mechanical science, like airplanes, cars. I'm still passionate about it today, extremely passionate. I remember when I was 14, I went to this like sale point where loads of people used to second-hand sell objects and stuff. And with the money I made during the day, I saw this guy just in front of me selling a bike, you know. And I said, I want to buy this bike, you know, it looks pretty cool. So I bought the bike, you know, I was alone, my parents were not there at the time, and they hate when I ride bikes, you know, they hate it, which is understandable, because it's dangerous. And I was riding in front of my house, and my parents were not home yet. I was driving super fast without a helmet, and I saw my mum coming. I said, okay, I'll go super fast next to my mum. I was like 14 years old, you know, stupid, you know. And she saw me, and she started beeping, you know, what are you doing, what are you doing? I was like, I'm having fun, I'm having fun. And since that day, seeing me on the bike, it makes them crazy. But at a certain point, my dream was to become a pilot. I don't know why, I just loved it. And I started flying. I took a license to fly in a small club. And afterwards, I realized that business was for me. And I decided this is my route, you know, this is my path for me, and I'm still doing focused on business today.
Do you have any family traditions?
Well, because my mom is half English, half Irish, and my dad is French, I was educated through two cultures. And I find that a lot, because the traditions is, for example, in Christmas traditions, we have more an English Christmas. But when we have a meal, for example, it's a more French-style meal. Like my mom cooks French food, we eat with cheese. So it's like a mix, like a ball of culture all the time. You know, We often have a tradition to, when we were kids, we used to go on holiday. Every holiday we used to go somewhere, you know. Take the car, you know, whole family, and go to Italy, go to Croatia, go to Germany. And I remember those holidays a lot, you know, they were really amazing. You know, my brother and sister, because I have an elder sister and a younger brother. Yeah, they forged my memories as a child, yeah. I would like to talk about also the French culture because, as you all know, French culture is very specific. And we have loads of traditions in France, loads of historical traditions. And one I like is a very simple one, it's La Galette des Rois. La Galette des Rois is in January or February or something like that. And the aim is that you have a cake, okay, you share a cake, and inside the cake you put like a baby statue, a small statue, and it's inside one of the slices. And the one that gets the cake becomes the king for the day. Wow. And you have to serve the king for the day. It's one of the traditions we do a lot in France, but you should come to France, it's a really cool place.
Occupations related to engineering had always been Murray's passion. However, based on the features of his character and sociability, the business sphere with its wide range of activities became nearer to his heart. For studying at the Almaty Management University, Murray has chosen the course of corporate management and subjects connected with geopolitics to have an opportunity to learn more about Central Asia.
So, what has led you to Kazakhstan and why Kazakhstan?
Because, you know, I'm a student in business, and in business you have to be extremely open-minded. You have to discover the world, discover new cultures, and I wanted to visit Central Asia. At that time I had a few choices in Asia. I could have gone to India, I could have gone to China also. The choice was pretty hard, but loads of people go to India, loads of people go to China, and Kazakhstan for me was something new, and I wanted to know about it because I didn't know much about it, so why not go to Kazakhstan? And I have absolutely no regrets. Amazing place.
Tell us a little bit about your student life today.
Well, university was an extremely good surprise in terms of standards, in terms of also the inside, the teaching. You have loads of foreigners, the teachers are loads of Chinese, Americans, French and Spanish. The students are very nice. The structure is very good. The standards are actually quote to quote to European standards. And a great surprise. I mean, I feel as good here as I do in France.
What opinion on Kazakhstan have you formed, and is it different from what you had before visiting it?
Something that surprised me a lot is how different the expectations are from reality. Because, you know, as I said, I came here with an open mind. I didn't know what to expect. I knew quite a lot of things, but linked to nature most of the time. Like, we knew about the steppes. We knew a lot about the mountains, especially in the south, you know. About the eagles, because the eagles are very famous, you know, training the eagles and stuff. And also the food. And I'm actually not disappointed by the food, it's really good. And we knew about plov, we knew about lagman. I never tasted it before. And it's pretty amazing, it's pretty good, yeah. Shubat kumis. I tried also, oh, you have to help me, I don't remember the name. It's not plov, not lagman, it's...
Manti.
Manti, yes, the little things. Yeah. Amazing, it's so good, it's good with the cream sauce on it. No, that's really cool, that's really nice, it's really nice. The food is very good. But the culture itself is so different from what I imagined myself living for 6 months. It's completely different, but in a very good, positive way. I love the friendliness of people. It's actually one of the things that shocked me the most is how people are so friendly. You know, if you look at in Europe, people are friendly, but at a certain moment, you know, they could give you time, but not too much. In Kazakhstan, they invite you for tea. They could help you get a job, they could help you, you know, take your shopping, and, you know, you just put your hand out for a taxi, people help you, and I find that amazing. It's like, you know, this sharing, this community feeling inside the country, especially in Almaty. When you face a different culture, you have to be open-minded, because you're otherwise going to have judgments and stuff, and you shouldn't, you know, and you should appreciate the beauty of a different culture. And in terms of advice, I wouldn't give, because, you know, there's nothing to take in. I mean, it's not difficult to live. You know, people speak English most of the time. The only advice I would give them is actually learn a bit of Kazakh before coming to Kazakhstan. You know, like Rahmed, Salam, to show that you're interested in culture.
Have you got acquainted with any local traditions?
Something that sounded extremely interesting is that in Kazakhstan people eat horse a lot. Like in France we eat a lot of cows and we eat a bit of horse, but here it's like mainly horse. And As a Frenchman, it doesn't surprise me that much because I eat the horse myself. It's super delicious. You know, someone who doesn't like horse is not understandable. I don't understand. But if you talk to an American or an English person, yeah, they would find that pretty shocking. It's like, oh, you're eating my horse riding. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, and that's what is interesting about Kazakhstan is that you do loads of horse riding, and you also respect the animal. You know what I'm saying? Even if you eat the animal. And I find it quite interesting. That surprised me. Yeah, something that surprised me also is that in Kazakhstan you drink a lot of tea, and people invite each other to drink tea. And we were invited once to a bar to drink tea, and the person next to me who invited us, you know, the French team, he poured just a bit of tea, you know, just a bit. I was like, why is he doing that? You know, for us, pouring just a bit of tea in Europe is quite unrespectful. It's like, oh, I'm not giving you much. Right. But after I learned that if you pour too much, it's unrespectful because, you know, you want to get rid of the person. It's like, oh, drink it quick, and you don't have to go. And it was quite funny because I asked more about it. And you're like, why do you want more? You want to go soon? I said, like, no, I'm just thirsty, you know what I'm saying? So that was pretty interesting.
The hero of our program had seriously engaged in cycling for a long time, taking part in various competitions. But then he had to pick up a new hobby. That was an activity called CrossFit, the system of physical education that was founded in 2000. This sport became popular in Almaty as well, and thanks to that, Murray and his friends from France have an opportunity to do it at any convenient time. In addition, our hero is keen on hiking, and quite often he gets out of the city of Almaty to enjoy the local mountain landscape.
And what are your future plans? Are you going to stay in Kazakhstan for a while after your graduation?
I am, actually, because we've been thinking about this with Kevin, a friend of mine, a French guy. And the 6 months here were too short. To be honest with you, very too short. And we decided to find an internship in September and come back for about 6 or 7 months. So this is the plan. It's not sure yet, but we want to stay. We want to discover a bit more about Kazakhstan and the regions around Kazakhstan. So yeah, that's the plan. But I don't want to end my degree in just international business. After that, I'm going to finish my degree in international business. I would like to do, like in France, a famous school called Sciences Po, Sciences Politiques, and integrate a geopolitics course to become an ambassador for France, actually. And that's the objective for the near future.
Do you have any business plan in your mind that are connected to Kazakhstan?
I do, actually, because Kazakhstan has huge potential. Because for me, the market is very young in Kazakhstan, and as Western companies, there are very few. I don't know, I feel it, and I think there's a huge potential into bringing European culture to here, and actually also bring Kazakh culture back to France, because we have very little in France, maybe nothing. And yeah, there's huge potential. It's a country that has huge potential in every sector: finance, you know, the food industry, also by petrol, you know, oil and gas, digital, especially digital, huge future. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Are you planning to have a family in the nearest future?
That's interesting because I consider myself as still very young. The common age in Europe to have kids or even marriage is around 25 for marriage and 28, 32 for kids. But it depends on the country. If you look at England and Germany, it's younger. France, it tends to be older because people take their time to get, you know, prepared for family, even for wedding, because it's a commitment. You know, if you get married, it's a commitment. The reason why in France and also in Europe in general that people found a family around 28 or 32 is because traditionally we like to found a family once we have a stable situation, economically and socially, with the girlfriend or the wife. And generally also, if you look at my situation and most of young people's situation in France or Europe, at 22 you're still studying. At 25, most of them are still studying also, because you have to do a master's degree or you do a PhD. And after you have to meet someone, you know, you have to find a job, find a flat, pay a car, and it takes time. And before having a kid or family, you need to have a stable situation. They're not ready, you know, to bring a life in this world without, you know, ensuring its future. So that's why we tend to have an older family situation. So for the moment, no, I'm not ready. I will for sure. But maybe, you know, when I have more stable situation and everything will be okay, I'll have a family for sure.
Friendliness, hospitality, mutual assistance and support are those qualities that astonish and attract foreign guests to Kazakhstan, and impressions of which they gladly share with their relatives and close friends all over the world.